Hello and welcome. This is Fireworks. Today we look at the criticisms about Nigerians being unable to speak with one voice, especially when it comes to political matters. Be that as it may, one thing you can't take away from Nigerians is their active participation in the political process. And so when the APC defeated the former ruling party, the PDP, at the 2015 general elections, that political debate that Nigerians are known for became split between what is now popularly known as the hailers and the wailers. Today, we speak with an astute defender of this administration, or if you like, a hailer. Perhaps there is no better time than now to hear from one of the hailers. Let's take a short break, during which you'll find out who my guest is today on Fireworks. Stay with us. Thank you for joining me on Fireworks. I am Bukola Samuel Wemimo. Today my guest is the Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress in Lagos State, Chairman of the Wharf Landing Fee Collecting Authority, and of course the former General Manager of the Lagos State Infrastructure Maintenance and Regulatory Agency. Thank you for joining us, Chief Joe Igbokwe.
Good morning. Good morning. You're welcome.
Yes, thank you very much. Now, your inspirational writings give us a lot to talk about today on Fireworks. But before that, let's look at some of those things that Nigerians have been commenting on, especially on the social media in recent times. The 2017 budget has been delivered to the acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, by the Presidential Aide on Political Matters. And in delivering that budget, Senator Ita Enang assured State House correspondents when he said that the acting president has the power of the president to assent to it. But the assent to the appropriation bill, in his own view, will be after the completion of the standard operation process, which he says will take 30 days. Are you confident that the vice president, acting president, will assent to this budget within the next few days or within 30 days?
First, I want to tell you that the president is on leave, medical leave. And that means that the vice president is in charge. And don't forget about Section 145, it settles the whole matter. This is not the first time we are witnessing this kind of thing. We've seen it in the other clients. When Reagan went for surgery a few years back, he had to hand over to sign off the presidency to the deputy. And when he came out of the theater, collected, signed back the presidency. That's what is being played. That's what is playing out here, and it's as clear as ABC, simple as ABC. Whatever you see down that section, or whatever any other Nigerian is writing about, it's just mere semantics, mere, playing with words.
Really? Semantics?
Section 145
now that
has settled the matter.
Now that you've talked about semantics, can a coordinator of the economy, who is acting president, assent to that budget?
Of course.
That's coordinator of the economy?
Yeah, not coordinator. They move the word coordinator. He is the president, acting president now. And that empowers him to sign the budget. Number two is that the president is on leave.
What is different this time? Why did the president's handlers who drafted this letter informing the National Assembly of the president's next round of medical leave, why did it read that the vice president will be acting president but will coordinate the economy?
I said, remove your mind from that word coordinate.
But it's rather difficult because we're talking about constitutional matters.
It's not difficult. Under that letter, you see Section 145. I'm not interested in anything that you are putting down that letter. It's just playing with words. And like I said, I still insist that they just mere semantics. Section 145 has settled the matter.
Do you believe that we have serious-minded people at the National Assembly?
Well, Given what we have, what we are seeing, I think some of them, or majority of them, don't understand where we are and where we want to go.
That's why
some of them, as they are,
they don't see it as mere semantics.
No, I don't. I'm not even talking about that one. I'm talking of the characters.
Because some members of the National Assembly couldn't ignore that phrase, coordinator of
No,
the economy.
they are just making a mole out of nothing. That is trying to make something out of nothing. It's just noise and no substance, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
Now, in recent times, you wrote about the launch of the popular senator Dino Melaye, the launch of his book titled Antidote to Corruption. Now, I quote you, to Saraki, the war on corruption is a circus show that is working on the surface instead of dealing with the symptoms. Perhaps dealing with the symptoms amounts to allowing Saraki walk away with the many cases of corruption that he brags about. Apparently, you're not impressed by that outing. Please share your thoughts.
Let me tell you. Somebody said, and I'm repeating it, anything that we have lacked in this country, or we lack, even as I speak to you, can be traced to corruption. You understand? And for you to fight corruption in this country, you have to infringe on the rights of people, whether they are PDP or APC. Because it's not only an epidemic, it's now pandemic. In the sense that almost 80% of our budget was pocketed, almost pocketed in the last 16 years, from 1999 to 2015. Until PMB came. So it's a serious issue. So anybody who is going to come to talk to us about corruption must also put his hands on the table, put his cards on the table.
Apparently,
you cannot use corruption to fight corruption.
You are not impressed by the
Saraki
Senate presidency, and that's why you've commented in the past that even in the past administrations, senators like Adolphus Wabara, Evans Ewerem are either stepped aside or were impeached as a result of corruption cases. But what's different about the Senate presidency of Bukola Saraki?
The difference? Or what I have against him?
Why has he remained? Or if you like, what you have against him?
You see, when in times of that Mabara, Okadibo, and Werema and Co., you have a different president, and you have another president. Situations differ, personalities, differ, ideas differ, conducts differ. So, Buhari is a general, and he wouldn't want to be seen to do it the way it was done before. He tried to follow a process, a judicial process. That's why his case is at CCT. Non-declaration of full non-declaration of assets. Everything was a lie. And the man said, like I said, for you to fight corruption in this country, you have to infringe on the rights of people, whether they are PDP or APC. Don't forget that the SSG is facing the same problem. The man told you, I'm for everybody, I'm for nobody in particular. So allow them to face the law.
Perhaps you're not looking at the circumstances surrounding his emergence as Senate president. Would he be standing trial today if he were not the one that won the election into the office of Senate president?
If you hide, you are not bringing justice.
But that's not the answer to the question.
The answer to the question
is because... Would he be standing trial if he were not the Senate president today?
Of course.
Really?
If there were empirical evidence or evidences on the table, he will.
But
he
there
has not
had
even,
been,
he has not even apologized to the
but
party.
there had been consultations at the party level prior to that election. The party had articulated its position about who it wanted to become Senate president. So
That's what I said.
why didn't the party put its house in order ahead of that time, ahead of the election
The
day?
house was in order,
Rarely.
but somebody went back.
If the
When
house,
order,
if the
when
house,
good people are
if the house
sleeping.
was in order, Chief, a member of that house would not go ahead and betray the house.
A thief is a thief. You see, you can trust people. You can't trust people by their looks, action, character, attitude. Matters a lot. You see, he knew what was on the table. He knew the plan. But he left the party and went to work with the people that were just defeated. That is his crime. That is his crime. And, you know, it's just that when you are gunning, if you can win that Senate presidency with just one vote. But for you to be removed, you need 2/3. It's difficult for you to remove it. That's what we're going to discuss. Besides, most of them are corrupt. Most of those senators are corrupt. But some of them, majority of them cannot key into the agenda of this government. What they are saying, what can it be in our own time, in our own turn to make money? And you are telling us what to do. No, do you know how much I spent to come to this place? That is the war.
Chief, do you acknowledge that he's one of the greatest contributors to the alliance of the All Progressives Congress, the alliance of all the other parties that formed the All Progressives Congress, and to the eventual success of the party at the 2015 general election?
So, if you have contributed money to start
and
a business,
apart from that,
if you have contributed money to start a business, then you don't destroy the business.
Let me quote you, Chief. When that gale of defection began, and when all these members of former parties were coming in to form the All Progressives Congress, you said they are trooping in to meet sound minds with sound ideas who understand what leadership is about. They're coming into APC to know about the power of teamwork, organization, and creative energy. The incoming PDP members will, in no uncertain terms, learn for the first time in APC family that power goes with responsibility. Have you eaten your words?
I'm not eating my words. Jesus had 12 disciples, and one came out to betray him. It's the same. In a system, you must have a moral. In any system, there must be a moral. We had all these things in America. That is coming in. It's PDP and APC, they're not the same. They are coming in to key into ideas, our philosophy about government, our principle. But one Judas went out of the way, including others.
So allegations
he didn't walk alone.
Of false declaration of assets, which he allegedly committed when he was governor, becomes a problem in 2016 when he becomes Senate president.
Do you know the agenda of this government? Do you know the principal agenda of this government before coming to power? To fight corruption. Because like I told you, corruption has taken away infrastructure from us, first-class universities from us, first-class hospitals from us, anything you can think of. Look at the state of our roads around the ports, premier ports. It's corruption. I went to a conference in Ghana, and the man said, I think he's a president of a church or general overseer of a church. He said, if you see a place where nothing is working, somebody is responsible for that. We had all the money to have. There's no reason why our country will not be like South Africa, or let me say Dubai, if we had used money that we have made from oil. If we have used it effectively, we wouldn't have been where we are today. While others were spending their money, we frittered our own.
Now,
so that's what we're suffering.
Earlier in your commentary, you suggest that he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. In our next line of discussion, we want to find out if he who is coming into equity has indeed come with clean hands. You're watching Fireworks. I've been talking with the chairman, Wharf Landing Fee Collecting Authority, and Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress here in Lagos State, Chief Joe Igbokwe. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Thank you for staying tuned to Fireworks. I have been talking with Chief Joe Igbokwe, Chairman, Wharf Landing Fee Collecting Authority, and spokesman of the All Progressives Congress here in Lagos State. In the last half hour, we've been talking about the 2017 budget and perceived challenges behind the expected ascent of that budget. And of course, issues of corruption in the last 1.5 years of this administration. We will be progressing now to look more deeply, more critically into the Buhari government's anti-corruption war. Thank you for your time. Now,
welcome.
Has he who came to equity to fight the anti-corruption war at the onset of this administration, has it demonstrated, has it led by example?
Of course. You see that you are not seeing what I'm saying? Have you not seen that even in the face of recession, we have money for projects? You didn't notice that almost 20,000 accounts were closed. And then you have the TSA, single treasury account. Do you know how much we saved as a country? Do you know that civil servants at the federal level who cannot see money again they want to be transferred to their states? Can't you see what is happening? What we have not been able to achieve in 16 years has been achieved in 2 years. But the whalers will not say it. They will pretend as if nothing is happening. But we see it. We have third eyes. We see it.
What about the argument by the whalers that the anti-corruption war has been selective?
Our target is not this administration. Our target is to find out what happened in this country from 1999 to 2015. So now when Nigeria when Nigeria sold oil $150, $155, $160 per barrel. Whereas countries like Malaysia, Indonesia was $250 billion. In their kitty, they had it in their kitty saved. Our own depreciated from $65 billion US dollars to about 30 or 32. Where did all the money go to? This is what we are looking at. Why not overlooking our own government? Because the structures we have put in place has rendered nugatory, almost nugatory, any attempt for somebody to just walk into the system and take $1 billion, $250 million. It's no longer possible without anybody seeing it.
Members of this administration who held offices as former governors were also accused of one corruption allegation or the other. Why hasn't this government even as much as asked that those cases be looked into?
So many of them are facing the courts, are facing the jury. It's just that the jury itself, our courts itself, our judges itself are corrupt. That's what the president lamented right from the word go. He said, my problem is the judiciary. And we're saying it. When a case is brought before a court of justice, they try to circumvent the system. They use the money they have stolen to bribe the system. We're not saying that there are no mistakes, but the man can be trusted in matters of fairness, in matters of bringing justice to everybody. He's not for anybody only, he's for everybody. and we can trust him. That is why we are behind him. Like I used to say, 120% beyond mathematics. There may be little mistake because you cannot be 100% all the time, but we can trust this president in this war against corruption. And don't forget that 90% of our focus is on what happened between 1999 and 2015. 90%. Because the moment we took over in 2015, we put structures in place.
You believe that whoever is arrested should give his own personal accounts?
Of course.
What if investigations reveal that whatever had been allegedly committed was committed in concert?
Until we get there. Until we get there. Well,
I'm not convinced by a line of argument, Chief, but let's make progress. What are your thoughts on the IPOB agitation, even though we have an idea, especially because of what was in the news lately about the threat by the agitators of the IPOB? Is it to expel you from your homeland or what? Please refresh our memories.
Well, because I'm not a candidate for Biafra. And I have my reasons. So when I push out something there, you see some of them being angry. Some of them are very reasonable. It's only me. We have thousands and millions of our people that don't think that Biafra is the way to go. But that is not to overlook the fact that we have series of cases of injustice against Igbo in Nigeria since the end of the Civil War in 1970. There has been systemic marginalization, official marginalization, structured marginalization. I've said official, I've said structured, systemic, deliberate marginalization to keep our people down. That's what I'm saying, that we have not been able to, our leaders have not been able to gather together.
So you have done very little.
Let me tell you.
Is it because you are
wait now.
A prominent beneficiary of the politics of the West?
What am I going
so
to?
It's
what am I going to be?
For you not to want
what
to
am I going to benefit?
With the IPOB agitation?
What am I going to benefit?
Or with any politics of the East in the first place? Because you're more prominent in Lagos politics.
I go to
you
the
have
East.
been a chairman of La Simra. You are the current chairman of the Wharf Landing Fee Collecting Authority. You are the publicity secretary of the All Progressives Congress in Lagos, and you have been
the chairman of all publicity secretaries.
Yes.
APC across Nigeria. Let me tell you.
So you're benefiting from a lot of fronts. So it's convenient for you not to know.
If you are a student of the Bible,
identify with
if you are a student of the Bible, you know that there was a time in the Bible where somebody told Moses, he said, look, or Daniel, if you go to that place, whatever you are eating there, know where you are coming from. Whatever you are eating in the king's house, remember your place. If anybody tells you that Joe Igbokwe is comfortable and therefore it's not talking about Biafra, that person cannot get it. If you go to Igboland today, you won't even know that there was a civil war.
If you're not in the good books of your brothers at home, how will this affect your presidential ambition? I gather that you have one for 2022.
Let me tell you. Okay. They will vote for me.
Really?
They will vote for me. By the time they see what I'm seeing, they will vote for me. But let me also give you another angle. In 1999, Yorubas did not vote Obasanjo from ward, local government, state, and at regional level. And yet, he became the president of Nigeria. Politics is a game of numbers. In politics, there's no permanent enemies.
So you hope that the odds will favor you in 2022.
And lastly, let me also tell you that Nigeria provides big space
we must wrap up now, Chief.
Igbo enterprise.
What will you do differently? Why should anybody take you seriously? I mean, you've only been active in politics in the West in the last decade or so. So why should Nigerians take you seriously in 2022?
2023. I'm a serious person. I'm a serious person. And I feel for the poor. Whatever I've made in this world, I've used it to to help people. And I know I can do things differently. I have traveled extensively. I've seen things. And I know what to do. I know what to do to stop the cries of the Southeast. The moment I get in there, I will give the Southeast additional state. And I will pay them compensation. Sabakoba went to went to court recently to calculate how much that would have been due to the Southeast if that state was created in 2002 or 2005 or so, when Obasanjo's constitutional conference, approved additional state to the Southeast. It was not done because one, we couldn't put our house in order. We couldn't say this is where the state is going to come from because we are the ones that would do it. We didn't do it. So they will have to pay us that money. If they didn't, if they cannot give us this state till 2003, when I get there, I will start calculating what is due, what would have been due to that state since 2006. I'll pay it.
We hope your government will be nationalistic in nature because you've been talking about
the issues of
what
justice.
is due to the Southeast.
Issues of justice.
We'll have to wait until
injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
We'll have to find out about what more you will do. We have to wait till 2023. We want to thank you very much for your time and thoughts on fireworks. Now, has Chief Joe Igbokwe's commentary lent credence to the divisive nature of politicking in Nigeria, especially the political debates that Nigerians are known for? It is for you to decide, as I thank you for staying with us on today's edition of Fireworks, and I urge you to join us again same time next week when we bring you another incisive edition of the program. I am Bukola Samuel Wenimo. Bye for now.